Greeting and welcome, dear reviewers, to a new episode of The Good Home. So, how are you, Dana, doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for our new episode. As always, we have interesting topics waiting for our dear viewers.
Yes, so every time that we talk about a topic which related to a family. So today we will be talking about a special kind of a human, which is...
Today we'll be talking about the most important human.
The most?
Which is females in general. We'll talk about women.
Okay.
And we'll specifically be zooming in on how do women self-care.
Okay.
And how important it is for a woman to take care of herself and not neglect herself.
It is very important. It's very important for women to take care of themselves. So probably let's talk about their taking self-care while they are a teenager, while they are at the college. So how could women taking care of themselves?
The thing is, females in general, I think it's in our DNA, we're caregivers. We take care of others before we take care of ourselves.
Okay.
And we've seen it growing up, seeing our moms taking care of everyone, and our grandmas, and many role models in front of us where a woman needs to be the caregiver.
Yeah.
So we feel like it's our responsibility to attend to others and forget to attend to ourselves, unless we're being told or we're being taught that it's important.
Okay.
So if a teenager is surrounded by good examples of women who take care of themselves, they will take care of themselves.
So what do you mean by taking care of themselves?
So not feeling guilty or bad for taking time off for herself, or for relaxing, or for watching TV, or for going out with her friends, or for going to the spa, or doing pedicure, manicure, or taking care of her, like whether it's physical care or whether it's mental and emotional care. Even teenagers, especially that we talked about teens, they go through a lot of changes and phases where they're depressed or anxiety or self-confidence. So maybe it's about seeking therapy if needed, or talking to elders that can give them advice, or talking to their counselors in school. Taking care of their mental health should be a habit that we instill in females, in all kids, but especially females, early on in life, I think.
So Dana, what about if the female gets married, and I believe now she's going to have more responsibility, that she has to take care of their husband, and probably later on, when she have children, she's going to actually add more responsibilities. How could she take care of herself?
So even if she was doing well taking care of herself before marriage, when she reaches marriage, it's a new ball game.
Exactly.
A lot of responsibility is thrown at her, and she's expected that, oh, now you have to attend to a family, you have to attend to the house, you have to cook, you have to clean, you have responsibilities.
Wow.
So all of a sudden she's a woman, and she's responsible.
Taking care of the kids.
So that makes it even more overwhelming and hard for her to find the time to take care of herself. And a lot of times, like majority of the time, unfortunately, she get lost in the day-to-day responsibilities, and they take over herself, so that she neglects herself more, sometimes until it's too late. So we try, hopefully in today's episode, shed the light on the importance of giving yourself at least this 30% or 30-minute break a day to do something that will feed your soul and feed your health and make you take care of yourself, and remember that you are the center of attention. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family.
Exactly, because I believe that women in general are the center of the family, and that's why probably this is a very important topic that we have to touch on.
So let's dig into this topic. We have the perfect guest to do that with. We have Dr. Asil Al-Ibrahim, specialist woman health psychiatrist, who's going to be with us right after watching this report. Stay with us.
Women are told that they can have it all: parenthood, families, careers, relationships, and community involvement. Women are not told, however, that by juggling all these hats, they put themselves at risk for feeling perpetually burnt out. Many women become so busy taking care of kids, partners, parents, in-laws, pursuing careers, and managing the day-to-day maintenance of running at home, cooking, cleaning, shopping, that everyone else gets their best. they get shortchanged. Some women even put basic needs on hold: doctor's appointments, haircuts, coffee with a close friend. If this resonates, you might feel dissatisfied, lonely, unappreciated, haggard, cranky, disheveled, and even unattractive. Having it all leaves you with no strength and no time to care for yourself. So, to have a good life, you should start taking care of yourself as much as you take care of the people you love.
And we are back, dear viewers, in the main part of The Good Home with our esteemed guest, Dr. Asil Ibrahim. She's a specialist in women health psychiatry. We are glad to have you with us today, Dr. Asil.
Thank you so much for hosting me and letting me be part of this show.
Welcome, Dr. Asil. We're happy to have you here. And let's dig into our topic for today. We'll talk about self-care for women.
Yes.
So my first question for you is, what are the different forms of self-care for women, whether it's physical, mental, emotional? Tell me more.
Right. So when we talk about self-care, we're talking about behaviors that a person does to preserve and to promote their own well-being. So it's basically any activities or behavior a person does that give them joy and comfort with themselves. So it could be as simple as reading your favorite book, watching your show, and it's something that kind of detach you from all the responsibilities and all the duties that you have to do in your home.
Okay, very interesting.
Perfect. So, Dr. Asil, since I'm exercise physiologist and I believe in exercise and how important it is, I'm just wondering to know how it is important for women to be women who exercise to really increase her strength.
Of course, for the way we see it is that physical exercise is a form of stress reduction, right? So we're talking about aerobic about 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. This will actually help stress reduction and it can actually prevent a lot of depression or a lot of negative emotion that a woman does feel and frustration. And for you to have a healthy mood or even a healthy mind, you need a healthy body, right?
Exactly. So
Absolutely.
how could she find the time to do that? Since if women have a lot of children, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of women have their own job.
Right.
And do you think, how could they find the time to do this kind of form of exercise?
I think this is a very important question that everybody asks themselves. I think every day when they wake up, how can I find time for myself?
Exactly.
And we're not being very selfish or asking a lot. We're talking about 30 minutes a day, which is not impossible. I mean, you have all the time to give to your family, and you're just self-caring about 30 minutes to 1 hour, in which you're able to look after yourself because you're also important. You're a human being.
Absolutely.
That have your own basic need, and this can be difficult for a lot of moms and I would say a lot of even families to understand this concept.
Absolutely. It's important that they set it as a top priority. Like, I'm important and I need to take care of myself. I like hearing that from a woman to a woman. I like hearing that, and I think every woman that's watching us today should remember that it's important. And like you said, 30 minutes will change a lot. So let's talk about if she doesn't take care of herself, what effects does that have on herself, but also on people around her and family members?
Yeah, I don't like to use this term, but I see it frequently in my clinic, in which I would call it a frustrated mother. A mother who is tired, exhausted, and sleepless tend to be in a bad mood most of the time. It's very sad, but being a mother who is frustrated and angry is not wouldn't have a good connection with her children, with her husband. And this will be definitely reflected back in all her relationships that she has. So this is what I'm afraid of. When a mom overwhelms herself, she forgets to take care. And she forgets that she has all these responsibilities, and her being in a better shape, or I would say even the perfect shape, is very important.
Absolutely.
So Dr. Asil, since probably women are, I believe she has a lot of important role in the family. What about if she actually had a problem? What she could do actually to overcome this problem?
we're talking about what kind of problems?
Any emotional problem, let's say, because she has a lot of work to do. She has to take care of her husband. She has to take care of her children, as well as she probably has a job, and she's have to really be engaged with employees. So, what she could do if she really went into a really emotional problem?
Right. I think the first and the most important thing is to admit that you have a problem. People do believe that what other people are able to do, for example, if somebody, a mom who has 5 kids and able to keep a job, we're always going to compare ourselves to them and wonder why I can't do that. So admitting that it's a problem for you to continue feeling or even functioning this way is the first solution. Second thing, I would say ask for help.
Okay.
We live in a community, and we live in a very wonderful, powerful community, and everybody wants to play a role.
Correct.
To help you and help your children, help your family be in a better shape.
Okay.
So that's what I think it's important. The third one, and would be one of the most important part, this is where my role comes, is that you should seek professional help.
Okay.
If you are struggling, you shouldn't struggle alone.
Okay. So doctor, you said in the second point that she has to ask for help.
Exactly.
So is there any particular person, friends, mother, or which kind of help she has to seek?
Right. It could be family, it could be friends. I would say even the husband. Nowadays, I would say a lot of husbands are very helpful and hands-on with children. And we need this kind of bonding between the child and the father, because we actually believe through medical evidence that specific area in the brain get matured up when there's this rough play between the father and the baby. So even this rough play in which the father kind of battle the baby, this is important for the baby on maturation.
Correct.
Yeah.
We don't know this, but we think everybody should be involved in this child care, not only, I would say, the mother or the grandmother. I think the father, the husband, everybody should be there.
Correct.
I think something important you said is not to compare. So if we look at someone else who's able to juggle a job and 5 kids, doesn't mean that you have to. Check your capacity maybe and see what are you capable of giving, and how can you take care of yourself to be able to be present with your kids.
Right.
So when it comes to having and spending quality time with kids and spending quality time with husband and spending quality time with people around you that you care about, what are tips that you can give a woman to balance between her life and her kids without reaching burnout?
Right. So it's a very challenging thing to actually find, I would say, a balance.
Okay.
Most of our days are very busy. We have a lot of things and a lot of, I would say, tasks to keep ahead throughout the day. We get very busy and we forget to actually, for example, watch, a 30-minute show or even read a book without interruption. This is almost impossible for a lot of moms. So what we're asking is that 30 minutes in which somebody can take over the kids, can help with the house, in which you can go for a simple walk. You can actually, I would say, do anything you enjoy that give you comfort. Even relaxation and meditation can help a lot of people be in a better set of mind.
And the key is not to feel guilty about it.
Exactly. I think that's the most challenging also aspect.
And I think this is the role of the husband to really get involved and help their or her wife to really give her some time to really do that she could do her hobby, or she could do their exercise, because many people think that the father has to be outside the home all day long, and I think this is absolutely wrong.
I think it's like the old thinking. I'd like to think. I feel nowadays it's becoming more balanced between the husband and the wife.
Which is good. This is
They should
actually
share
what we are aiming
responsibility.
to, because it's a balance between the wife and the husband, and they have to really work together to probably raising their kids, to really solving their problem together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I really like to point the fact that the mom tend to bond with the children very easily.
Okay.
Most of the moms are pregnant, I would say up to full term, 9 months, already developed a relationship with this child. The father has to work to develop relationship with with this child, right?
Correct.
So we expect the father also to put in some effort just for them to be able to engage with the child.
Okay, great. We will continue this topic, but let's just take a break. Dear viewers, we'll go on a break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back, dear viewers. We have with us in the studio Dr. Asil Al Ibrahim. Dr. Asil, we talked before the break about self-care for women, especially for moms, and how difficult it is for women to actually find the time to take care of themselves without feeling guilty, and to balance life and work and kids, and among all this, to be able to find herself. So when a woman neglects herself over and over and over, and she does reach burnout, a lot of times it affects on things like, or it reflects on her with depression or anxiety or other mental issues. So tell us more about this. Tell us more from your experience about how should a woman deal with depression and anxiety? Where should she go? What should she do? What are some methods you can help us share with our dear viewers?
Right. So when we're here, we're talking about self-care. This is an aim to prevent them to reach that point where you're saying depression and anxiety. We're talking about the severe end in which a woman can be dysfunctional at times. She might even struggle to do her very basic task in which she's supposed to care for her kids, care for herself at times. I've seen women in which they don't even have the energy to care for themselves, for their own hygiene. And we don't want a person to reach that point, right? So that's the aim in which why we put and emphasize on self-care, because we want them to not reach the point in which all their life is consumed, or I would say all their energy is devoted to childcare, and for them to forget who they are.
Okay. So Dr. Asil, what about a lot of mothers actually? They are trying to seek the perfection. For example, they would like to see all their children, they get a really high grades, and and she's working with them, a lot of work, and probably this will take a lot of energy from her energy. Is that good? What's your thought about that?
Right. I think we all want the best for our kids.
Correct.
I think we all stand as mothers to promote, and we want the best, and we want our kids actually to be better than us, right?
Correct.
I think that's the basic
Which is something
view.
normal.
Right, but you should set boundaries. You should actually be able to say enough is enough. You know, I tried my best, and this child cannot do this specific or learn that specific skill.
Okay.
And instead of pushing herself and pushing the child, because these stuff also can interfere with the relationship between the mom and the child, right? You don't want to be this hard mother who is always pushing her kids to try harder and harder instead of understanding that they are unable to do it, basically.
Losing that bond you have with your child just because you want them to be perfect. I think she should cut herself some slack, and her kids. Nothing can be really perfect, really. So if that we're going back to the comparison, don't compare, because if others do, it doesn't mean it's the right thing for you.
Correct.
Right.
And that's something that us moms do. You know,
Exactly.
like we're so good at making ourselves feel guilty. Someone does a big birthday, oh, I have to do a big birthday for my son.
Right.
Someone does, a mom helps her kids with homework, oh, I feel bad, I'm not a good enough mom, I'm not helping my kid with homework. But on my plate, there are so many different things that I'm dealing with that the other mom is not dealing with.
Exactly.
So we don't need to be superwoman. I think that is a message we should give our viewers, that we don't need to be superwoman, right?
I think one important thing to point out is that's most likely one of the effects of the social media. Is that people are posting the good things they do in their life, right? And so when we see a mom who's celebrating and doing a very big birthday party for their child, we want to do the same for our kids, right? I mean, we also love our kids. So this is one of the side effects, I would say, of social media, is that we see the good and bright side of other people, and then we compare our lives to them, and we forget to see that people don't post the negative
behind the
outcome.
scene.
They're not posting what's bad is happening in their life. They're only posting the good stuff.
Exactly. So Dr. Asia, I'm just curious now. My mother, actually, I would like to give an example for you. My mother, she's still caring about ourselves and caring about my sibling. And I'm just telling her that you should take a break. You've been working very hard. You raise us. You really put a lot of energy. Does the woman, at some point, she has to take a rest?
Well, it's actually
you shouldn't wait till then, I don't think.
I'm every single time I see her, I tell Mom, you should take a break. Now we are adults, we could take care of ourselves. And she's still caring. That's your sibling, that's your brother, is probably is not feeling good. And she's still really getting worried. And this is actually going to affect her her health. And I'm just curious when the mother could take a break.
I don't think there's a break from it. It's a role we identify and we enjoy playing it, I would say. A lot of moms do unable to detach themselves from this role. And I think it's the most difficult role in life, honestly. I would say you're always going to be a child in the eye of your mom, no matter how old you are.
Well, this actually highlights a very interesting point that women, especially back then, and like the older generation, have identified themselves so much as being a mom that they don't see themselves as anything else, you know? So her full identity becomes that she's a mom, so she always feels like she needs to be needed.
Yeah.
But what the doctor is trying to educate us in here is that if you self-care and you find yourself as a full individual, you have a lot more to offer to yourself, to your community, and to your family, beyond just being a mother.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to point out an important thing that I remembered. In fact, there are some women who struggle with what we call as postmenopausal depression, and a lot of it is related to the emptiness syndrome that we call. Is after their kids leave the house and they realize they're all alone and they don't really have a lot of things to do, so a lot of them will go into depression. It's because these children play a huge role in their life. So once they leave the house, they feel like a bird who lost her kids.
Yeah, the center of the world is not there anymore.
So what they could do at this stage? Is there any solution for this problem?
Right. We always advise to keep exploring what makes you happy. You should explore activities. I mean, it's never late to start doing yoga or meditation. All of these can be relaxing. There is obvious medical evidence into it, right? So we always try to push them to try new things. Even to try therapy at times can really help a lot of people change their way of thinking. Cognitive behavior therapy specifically can really change the way you think and tackle any issue that you struggle with. So generally speaking, there's a lot of ways a person can keep themselves busy aside from being a mom all the time, because like I said, I mean, a lot of children need time for themselves to grow for a good cause.
Correct.
Absolutely.
It is a long journey. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. So Dr. Asil, what are your advices to our dear viewers, especially mom, that you could give to our dear viewers?
Right. I think the most important thing I want to point it across is that care for yourself. You have a lot on your task. You have a lot on your plate.
Correct.
So I would say, overthink what you're gonna do to yourself every day. Try to find time for yourself, and always think, I'm reflecting back to my kids, right? Because we don't want you to be that tired mom. We don't want for children to grow up later on and remember you as being that angry mom who cannot relax.
Correct.
Right? We want her to be a mom who has a good relationship with her kids, and don't forget, you're the first relationship of the child actually in life.
You're setting a role model to them and how to take care of yourself.
They are learning life through you.
Absolutely.
And I would like to give an example to our dear viewers, especially husbands, that they have to support their wives, right?
It's a good advice.
Yes.
It is wonderful. I think a lot of husbands are supportive, generally speaking, but I mean, we want to emphasize on that as well.
That's good to see that numbers increasing. This is actually our role, is to increase the awareness. It's because life is balanced between women and men, and this is why they have to really work together in any task, because if they work together completely, I believe the result will be better.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, this has been delightful. We've learned so much from you. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everything you've shared with us. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I enjoy being here and enjoy this talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asil, with us. So dear viewers, we have a short break and we're going to continue the good home, so please stay tuned.
Dear viewers, every week we prepare a report specific to the topic of the week, so please stay with us and watch this report.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معكم الكابتن اسماعيل المير، مدير الفني حاليا بنادي العربي ومدرب. أهمية لعبة المبارزة هي التوافق العقلي الجسدي، وتعزز الثقة بالنفس، السرعة وردة فعل اللاعب. واهم شيء عندنا احنا بلعبة المبارزة اللي هي المسافة عندنا احنا قاتلة بالوقت الحالي. المسافة مهمة بلعبة المبارزة. وبالنسبة للأعمار في لعبة السلاح يعني من الصغر يفضل أنه يكون اللاعب صغير، يفضل أنه يكون من عمر 7 سنوات، وإحنا اللي رايحين لعمر 30-35 سنة، سواء كان للنساء أو للشباب.
Hi, my name is Talal Abdelali. I'm a player here at Al Arabi Fencing Academy. I've only been fencing for a little over a year now, and I'm absolutely in love with the sport. I started at a little bit of an older age because fencing is not so popular in Kuwait, so it was hard to find classes. But I stumbled upon a few private classes, and now I'm a fencer here at Al Arabi. It's such a magnificent sport. It teaches you so much about yourself. Fencing is an endurance sport as well, so you need a lot of core strength, a lot of stamina, and it's a combination of mind-body coordination. So it really is beautiful in terms of learning the skills of fencing and what comes with fencing, because during the process of a game, you learn so much about your opponent and about yourself, and you're going to need a lot of control over your mind as well. I sort of compare it to standing chess. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
سلام، أنا اسمي مريم آل الله. بلشت المبارزة قبل سنة وألعب بنادي العربي. بلشت المبارزة بسبة أهلي، لأن هم كانوا من صغري يلعبون، فحبيت اللعبة منهم، وأول ما بلشت فيها وايد عجبتني وبكمل فيها لما أوصل.
طبعا أهمية لعبة السلاح للنساء اللي هي تعزز الثقة بالنفس وتخليها قوية، وتعرف شلون تعتمد على نفسها، ويكون عندها صبر داخل الملعب، وتزيد من سرعتها والتركيز والتفكير. طبعا وايد امور يستفيد منها اللاعب المبارزه. طبعا حالها حال اي لعبه حركيه، والصفات هذه لازم تكون في اللاعب عشان يكون مبدع بانجازاته، وهو اللي يعني الصفات هذه هي اللي تخليه هو يحقق الفوز.
نصيحتي حق البنات، اذا كنتوا بتلعبون مبارزه، وايد راح يقولوا لكم ان اللعبه هذه لعبه شباب، بس هي حق الشباب والبنات، فلا تتحبطون او توقفون وكملوا فيها.
Fencing is a sport that you can start at any age. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think that you need to start sports at a really young age. But I actually started in my 30s, and I think it's a kind of sport that you can take up if you have a passion for it, and if you have goals and determination and drive. So I would say don't be nervous about trying anything new. I think if you're interested, just go ahead. And what's the worst that could happen?
Dear viewers, unfortunately, we are reaching the end of this episode, and we actually talk a very important topic, which is the self-care for women in general. So Dana, what do you think about our topic today?
Actually, we touched on many important points and different methods of how women should take care of themselves, but I really love what she said about not comparing each other.
Exactly.
Don't compare to other women and what they're doing. You are a superhero on your own.
Exactly.
Just do your best.
Do your best.
Be there.
Yes.
Your kids just want you to be there.
Yeah.
Give them love, and everything else will fall in place. You don't have to be everything at once.
And also probably Dana, so social media is actually we're looking to the perfect of this social media, and probably we're comparing ourselves with with the models
Yeah.
in the social
And
media.
they don't
think
believe
it's-
everything you see.
Exactly.
People obviously are going to post when they're having a great time, but they're not going to post when they fight.
Yes.
They're not going to post when they're going through a tough patch.
Exactly.
So you're only seeing the what's out there, what's outside. You're not seeing the what's behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And each person struggles on their own and have their own battles that they fight.
And how important exercise and physical activity
Yeah.
for women in general, because they
does
actually
magic.
absolutely, because they actually, you could reduce the depression, reduce
Yeah.
the anxiety, if there is of any women that exercise could help in this regard.
Like, as an extremely busy mom, I can vouch for that. Exercise keeps me sane, and it's like my half an hour to 1 hour a day that is for myself.
Exactly.
And it's a win-win. I'm in better health to play with my kids afterwards.
Exactly. And this
Yeah.
is why now the role of husband is actually to support their wives.
Please.
And this is our message to our dear viewers. And also probably the husband could spend the time with their kids by themselves, and they actually could increase the social interaction with each other.
Yes, please, all the men watching us, remember to support your wives.
Exactly.
You have a role in the family as well, and you have a role to raise your kids and to spend time with them, quality time, and to allow her to have some time for herself.
Agree.
To be a better wife to you and a better mom to the kids.
Absolutely true.
Dear viewers, we reached the end of our episode. We hope that you enjoyed it and you learned something with us today. Stay safe, and we will see you next week.
Dear viewers, please take care of each other. We're going to see you next week. Goodbye.